Choose links. Edit links. Viewers make. How do I do that? Low FPS. I think I had this problem last time. 15 to 16. Okay, let's see. 15 to 16 FPS. How do I do that though? How do I change it? I don't know how to change it. Ugh. Um, no sound. Do you have sound, Momo? It's all good. It's it's saying it has low FPS again, and it's a 24 says change it to 15 or 16, but I don't know how to do that. 13 needs to be. I think one of the. Can you hear me? Say yes or no. Yes. Okay. Good. Thank you. Um, I don't know how to. The resolution is okay. I was trying to look on my phone if it's popping up because I had a couple. There should be. Christina, hi. Good. Did you have any trouble logging in? Like I was trying to. Like I've had a couple people. That's what I'm doing. I have people texting me, like trying to find you. Can't log in. You do have sound. Okay, that's good. Resolution. It said something about. Boy, I really do need help with Facebook. I may switch to a different platform like TikTok um, or YouTube because it says I have low FBS. I don't even know what that means. Christina, did you just like go to my page and it was running? Like every week we struggle with this. Like if I scroll down, if I'm on my phone and I'm on my Facebook page and I go to it says it's live, like it says it like right. It's hard to see because of all the lighting, but it says live like right there. But I wouldn't know how to get to it. Do I just tap on it? Like I don't see me on it. Of course, maybe I wouldn't because it's me on my page. I don't know. Christina, bear with us for just a couple of minutes until we usually have between 15 and 20 people, sometimes 24 people join. Um, and we've been trying to figure out how this like really works because it seems very difficult to find. And I've talked to several, and I'm still talking to several people that are trying to join. But I might see it differently on my end because I'm the host of this page. Craig. Hello, Craig. I see you found us. You're on a tablet, though, too, right? Corey. Nice to see you, Corey. I just tapped on live. Oh, on your page. Very easy. Oh, okay, good. Thank you. Because I had a couple of people say like, how do I do it? So you just tap on where it says the live thing. Okay. I will. I'm sorry. I'm not ignoring. I'm just trying to message people that are trying to join that are still trying to figure it out as well. Very easy. Well, that's good to know. Thank you. Because it's a struggle on this end. Oh, okay. Yeah. So on my page, I think I do see it differently. Oh, there. See, here I am. Look, I'm looking at me. How funny is that? Hi, Jen. Or is this Stuffy? Oh, see? Oh, it's playing us live right now. Tammy. Jen, is it you or is it stuff on your phone this time? I'm glad you, I gotta turn this off. I'm glad you found us. Okay. Well, we are just waiting on a few more people. It was hard for you to find. Maybe it wasn't live quite yet. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just so social media challenged. Um, I think they said, and I tried to this time like to post a. Oh, you guys can't even probably see it, but I tried to post like this link. I thought that might be helpful. Here it shows that I'm going live, and then I think on this up there, see it's red. It says live, and I think Corey, that's what you tapped on. Oh, Tanya's driving. Where are you guys going? Okay. Well, tonight we are discussing timid and afraid dogs, which I know that's not my crew boy, not timid and afraid. And I know some of you don't have very timid and afraid dogs, so I appreciate you joining and supporting very, very much. I want to say thank you for showing up every week. And until this gets going, each week we have new people. That do show up, and some of our clients and dog warden people that have adopted dogs are showing up, which is good. So I feel like we're at least making a small difference, and hopefully in time it'll be a bigger difference, and word will get out there. So I appreciate everybody who shares, who posts, who mentions, so that we can, help as many people as we can with whatever topic. And of course, when you are here, Tammy, nice to meet you. Oh, wait. Yes. How are you? Um, so I also want to say, like, our topic for discussion tonight is obviously timid and afraid dogs. But at any time, like, this is kind of a roundtable discussion. Like, you are free to ask me whatever you want, on topic or off topic. That is fine. I will answer whatever questions that you have. I'm here to help. I just give it topic titles so that if there's something that somebody particularly wants to see, but maybe can't join, they can, have that topic, and we will definitely discuss timid and afraid tonight. But if you have other questions, by all means, don't hesitate to ask questions. I can very easily tend to get on a roll about one topic or another topic, and so just stop me and and ask. Sometimes I miss the chats and people have to remind me. So we're working on figuring out how to do the moderator thing as well because I do forget and we haven't quite figured that out yet, but we will. Corey, I see you all the time on Facebook. What kind of dogs do you have? I don't think I know. And Tammy, I think I'm meeting with you there. Tammy, we're meeting next week. We're meeting soon, so I know that. So I tend to I'm sorry about I have different glasses on tonight, readers actually, because I don't have my regular glasses, so I put contacts in. They're not right. So I have my husband's readers on tonight. So forgive me if I look like I'm struggling because I am. Okay, let's start out with and it does take a little bit longer when you text in or chat in. It does take a little bit longer for it to show up on my end. I don't think it does so much in um, TikTok or YouTube. And maybe next year or later on in this season, um, I'll figure out how to do those as well. Or maybe one might be easier than Facebook. Um, at this point, I think either one might be easier, but we'll see. Oh, you have Shih Tzu. Oh, we have a Shih Tzu. Oh, and a pit. Okay. Spiker from the pound. And Bella is a Shih Tzu. Okay. We have one little Shih Tzu. We got her from One of a Kind Pet. And then you have Spiker. Okay. All right. So, timid and afraid dogs. Most of the time we see timid and afraid. A lot of them that are especially rescues, because of the trauma they've experienced either prior to showing up at their shelter. A lot of them are breed dogs, as you know, and most like backyard breeders or breed dogs, they are. And I'm not criticizing the ones that do it correctly. So don't. I'm not saying that. It's not that I don't believe in any home breeding. I don't believe in backyard breeders. We have enough dogs at the shelter. We have enough dogs in strays. There are enough dogs. So those are the people that I'm talking about. The ones that are breeding and just not doing their part into making sure they find good homes. And it's just that where the dogs are a commodity and a possession and cash cow. Those are the people I'm talking about. I am not against all breeding of dogs. So I want to make that clear. I do have a passion for rescue dogs, obviously, and I do believe there's way too much breeding going on. So I will say that, and that's where I'm speaking from when I talk about this topic tonight, because there's a lot of, especially in our area down in Canton and things, and down in Sugar Creek, and everybody who's on here who lives here in Ohio. We had some people from Florida last week, but knows what I'm talking about. And so a lot of those dogs, they're not socialized with people and other dogs, of course. And so they struggle when they either get to a shelter. Sometimes they are just turned loose. Is they struggle really badly with what to do in the real world. They're used to be kept in cages. I follow Beagle Freedom Project. I don't know if anybody follows that. And there's a couple other Beagle. We're very much Beagle people too. Other Beagles that are projects that they've done a lot of. Oh gosh, I just lost my thought. Well, they're used a lot in what is the word I'm looking for? Lost it. But anyway, so there's a lot of them that are in testing facilities. That's what I was looking for. And so when they first get out into the real world, they really, really struggle. So we have mama dogs, a lot of mama dogs. that are just used in breeding kennels. And then we also have a lot of the babies too. And sorry, I'm looking at my pity. No, you're not going out there. You're fine. Come on. Come on. And so they really, really struggle. So we want, and a lot of rescues. Like we have one that is staying with my sister, who has been a very fearful pup. She was pulled out of the hurricanes down in, I was gonna say, off one of the islands. You can help me out here, April, because I can't. I just not thinking about it tonight. It's brain fog. But also very, very afraid and timid, and has been for years. And I have a rescue here from the Stark County Dog Warden that is taking us 2 years to get him out and about, and still really struggles with people and with traffic and cars and things like that, because he was very feral. So, it's a real thing. So some of the things that we can work on and do with a lot of these pups is what we call is put pressure on them and taking pressure off. St. Croix, thank you. I couldn't think of it. I was going to say Louisiana, but I knew that wasn't right. Come on, if you're coming up here. This is one of ours. Thank you. So one of the things we do is what we call is put pressure on them and take pressure off of them. And that means, like, we certainly try to desensitize them to certain things depending on what they are afraid of. And the best examples that I have would be like the ones I've worked with, mostly are afraid of people. And I'm sorry, I'm checking just to make sure it's not somebody trying to log in here real quick. Yeah, it was. Mostly people that they're afraid of people. And so some of the easiest things to do is not push them. And when I say don't push them, a lot of people would want to move very quickly. Like, they want their dogs to be very sociable with people. They want them to be very sociable with other dogs. And my philosophy has always been take things nice and slow. I mean, you're going to have these pups for 10 years or more, so there's no rush. And they will get there as long as you continue to put pressure on them. So, for example, with Ranger, ours that is pulled him from the Stark County Dog Warden. He had to be trapped. I don't know if he spent any time indoors in the main facility or if he was always in the back and they just couldn't get him. I can't remember. Maybe he was in the main facility for a little while. But terrified of the people, terrified of the world. And so we pulled him, and we still have him. And Brandon is so good with people. He's just so reactive. Well, and that's the thing is, like, and here's the thing is, like, you never know. I mean, dogs are a lot like kiddos. And I was explaining this to one of my clients before, is that you just never know, because some kids and people in general are just very sociable people. And some are much more, hi, Kara. Nice to see you. And Brandon is very reactive to other dogs. And Rachel, we obviously figured this out much sooner than, you waited a long time. So, but they can be very reactive to dogs for another reason. And my guess is going to be that whatever happened to him before the shelter and then at the shelter. So we don't know anything about him before he was at the shelter and what he went through. But then also, the shelters are very, they're very loud. Everything's very reactive. Everybody's in survival mode. And unless they're there for a very long time, and then they kind of become settled in, and they kind of like accept their fate, I guess, until they get adopted. But even after they get home, even if they've been at the shelter for a very long time, they may struggle with a lot of social anxiety. And so whether it's people or other dogs, some dogs can become very afraid and hide. So it's either fight, flight, freeze. So some will become very afraid and hide. Some will become very reactive and aggressive. And some will just stand there and like shake, like they don't know what to do. The good news is if it's one on one and done with leashes and calming, he says yes, and that's exactly the point I'm going to. Is that if you do it very calmly, you keep everybody calm, and the introductions don't have to be like immediate. Like we just had a one of my clients here the other day is that they're working on trying to introduce them with other dogs. Actually, I have multiple clients that are doing the exact same thing, it's just take it slowly, one dog at a time, and you might meet up with this other dog, several times before, like they actually meet. Like before they're actually playing or nose to nose or whatever. Like some dogs are just very afraid of other dogs, whether they've been attacked, whether they've been never been around them. It doesn't seem to. We don't have all the answers, but what we do know is that if you take it slowly, like for like let's say Brandon for example, he'll probably never go to a dog park and like every dog. I mean, let's just be honest. But you might get him into a circle of friends. Ranger was in the garage for 3 weeks, and then the vet room for 9 days, then the main area for 3 weeks until you got him. Oh, wow. See, I didn't even realize he was there that long. Yeah. Oh, he was in the vet room for 9 days? Huh. That's good to know. I didn't know that. Just because he was so afraid, Matt? He was just so timid, or people were afraid to... But still, like, so they may have a circle of friends, and we can be okay with that. Like, I just want them to like my neighbor's dog because he sees them every day, or I want them to like my mom or dad's dog or my best friend's dog, and that's okay. And we can take several weeks to introduce them to them, and when I say put pressure on them, it means just take them just a little bit further than what they're willing to go on their own. So sometimes it might just be like if they're afraid to come out from under the couch or from behind a chair or a bed, and you have people over, put them on a leash and bring them out and just have them sit with you. Don't pet them. Don't coddle them. And this is a huge thing with people is they want to sit there and they want to, especially with little ones, they're like, it's okay. And they're petting. But what that does is reinforce their nervousness. Like they're already anxious. And if we pet them and hold them, we're reinforcing that there's a reason to be scared and afraid. So what we want to do is just reassure them and say, you're fine. You got this. And let them be. Like have them close to you, have them on the chair. And it's okay to have them on your lap if you must, if they're little. But you don't want to coddle them. 58 days. Wow. I had no idea. I feel trying to build confidence, which is hard. Right. Spiker was terrified at the pound and took 5 weeks to get him out of the kennel. Yeah. So he is scared of new situations and people, but is getting a little bit better. So, and Corey, we can talk about this because, we're going through this. How long have you had him altogether? And I may have missed that if you said, but it's like terrifying for them. But we do need to desensitize them, and we do need to encourage them or put pressure on them to do things that are outside of their comfort zone. So, like for Ranger, he's terrified of traffic, cars moving in general, just even in a parking lot, just cars sitting still. He's terrified of traffic, and he really is like stranger danger all the time until he knows you. And when we first got him, it'd be several weeks until he gets through, or actually months till he gets through the de-escalation. But he would still leap over the chairs, leap over everything, and run and hide. Now, and I've had him, I think 2 years now, he is starting to come out and he'll sit on the couch and he'll observe things, but there was a time when after, like if I have 1 or 2 people over, put him on a leash and bring him out and just make him stay beside you. It's been 2 years. Okay. So Corey, we can work on this. Like you are welcome to call me, text me anytime. Yeah, because it does take a little bit, but we want to put a little bit of pressure on him and make him like, and then we take it away. So like if he comes out and does 10 minutes, that's huge. Then let him go. Let him go back to his room, his kennel, and take a brain break. It's kind of what, a brain break is what we call it in teaching. But like we can't expect him to come out and sit for 2 hours while your company's there, right? But we want to put a little pressure on him, have him come out, observe, realize he's okay, and then release the pressure and let him go back to his kennel where he feels safe. And then like if your company's there for a couple hours, bring him out for another 10 minutes and see how he does. And just reassure him that he's fine. Nobody here is going to hurt you. And then let him go back. What people want to do is they want to bring him out and leave him there and have him withstand the whole 2 hours, let's say. And that's too much pressure. Like, and then it just becomes a very bad, difficult time for the dog. Like they need to have pressure put on, but then they need it released. So they can like, that wasn't so bad. Okay, I can go out next time because I know the pressure is going to be taken off. So we don't want to put so much pressure on and then constantly leave it on and say, oh, well, we're desensitizing him and he's got to get through this. That's a lot. Give him 10 minutes and then let him have some peace and like relax, and then give him 10 minutes more and then let him have some peace. Put the pressure on him and then take it off. If dogs are the problem, it's going to be kind of the same thing. Like have the dogs on leashes, whoever you want your dog to be a friend with. If he's reactive, then back it up. Like there is a limit. When you have a reactive dog, there is a limit to where that reactivity stops. And so sometimes it's 10 feet, sometimes it's 50 feet, sometimes it's a football field, whatever it is. But there is a point where that dog feels safe. Okay. Crew Walter is still terrified of thunderstorms. Oh yeah. We'll talk about that too. Don't let me forget. Because you guys just had the horrible tornadoes. Yeah. And that's a whole different thing than just a regular rainstorm or a thunderstorm. When you have right by your house, it took down half the neighborhood. And that's another thing. But going back with other dogs or other people, like there is a boundary where your dog says, I'm okay. That's far enough away. I don't feel like I'm not afraid of that. So a friend or a client of mine is working with her dog on the same thing, and she goes to a park. Like we're working on parks now. We've worked on several different things, but we're up to the park level. And she just has to like sit in the gazebo with him. And so he can observe the kids playing on the playground and other dogs walking the walking path. But there's a limit where he is not reactive. And that's right where you want to start. And then you want to move a foot closer and see if he's reactive. And if he's not reactive, that's where you sit. And you just let him, and then you take him back off of that spot and you let him, have like a brain break. Maybe you take him for a little walk, you play with him, whatever. And then you take him back to where the edge was that he could take. And then that might be it for the day. But the next time you go, we might move 10 feet closer. But we always want to see where that edge is of reactivity. And that's where we start. Because we want to put enough pressure or push him just enough that he realizes he can have confidence and he is still okay. The other thing that's very important is that you remain between him and whatever it is that is making him nervous, whether it's people or whether it's vehicles or whether it's another dog. Like you want to have him behind you. And here's why. Because you're telling him in a dog mentality, dog psychology, that he is fine. And if he needs to be behind you, that's okay. But out in front, barking and carrying on, what he's doing is he's essentially telling, reactive dogs are essentially saying to the other dog or person, stay away, I'm dangerous. And they're trying to get that person to back up. And what happens is as that person or dog moves closer and closer, they're putting that pressure on him. And so he's barking and reacting, and he's getting really upset because that pressure is coming closer and closer. Just like if, you had two people and, somebody got right up in your face, you're like, whoa, back up, right? And that's essentially the same thing. He's like barking and carrying on because he can't flight. His natural instinct would be to flight, but he can't because he's on a leash. So this person's walking up closer and closer, and it's putting too much pressure on him. And so he's reacting. And he's like, I'm dangerous. I'm going to protect myself, or whatever it is, or just to let the other dog know, back up. And so what you can do is you can back him up to where he stops having that reactivity, and reinforce the idea that he is fine. And then next time, it might be 10 feet closer. Because once that dog doesn't come after him, that person or that dog or whatever he's afraid of, the cars, like with Ranger, I'm sure when he was feral, he was dodging cars. And so he's terrified of cars. So we spend a lot of time, especially when we're on our walks, is like just walking through parking lots, just where the cars are not moving. But if a car like puts on its reverse lights or moves or turns its engine on, I mean, like he's triggered very easily by vehicles and stranger danger people. So, we have to keep him at a spot where he feels safe. He's usually like behind me or beside me. And he knows now, because it's been 2 years, that, I'm going to advocate for him. I'm never going to let anything happen to him. So he knows that. But if he's out front and somebody approaches or a car comes, he's terrified. So we want to eliminate the fear and just say, we're only pushing you to what you can stand. And then we're going to back it off and give him like I didn't die there. I didn't just die in that situation. And then the next time we're going to push him a little further. And when they start to see other dogs at the park walking and that dog really doesn't want anything to do with them, those people really don't want anything to do with them, he starts to go, okay, this might not be so bad. Now, can you have people, strangers, walking up to him, petting him? No, not in the next week, not probably the next night, probably not, maybe not in the next year. But like with Ranger, and you'll see if you come to my social focus classes, he's going to be expected to sit and stay while people and dogs pass by him. And we're going to figure out where that level is of reactivity, because he's doing pretty good. He's doing really well about letting people be about, 5 to 10 feet from him, and he's not terribly afraid. But there are a select few people, very select few, that he's still absolutely terrified. So there's something going on in his brain, whether it's a look, a build, a demeanor, an energy, whatever it is. There's a very few specific people that has never hurt him, touched him, has tried very hard to get along with him, but he's still terrified of, for no apparent reason that I know of. So we just say, don't engage with him. No touch, no talk, no eye contact. And we want him to be present and realize that you are not a threat to him. And we're not going to push him too much. We've gotten to the point where this person can go up and maybe hand him a treat, or he'll talk to him, but that's it. And it's he's gotten to where he will like and knows certain people, and those 5 or 6 people he has no problem with anymore. But in the beginning he was afraid. So it's baby steps, and it's taking the time to just engage and put enough pressure on him that he can stand. And then what's so important is that you take that pressure off rather quickly. We don't need to pressure him so long that it becomes miserable, and that's what he remembers. He associates that person being with them, and that's a bad time. We want it to be safe. We want it to be calm, that you can put pressure on him, but then the pressure goes away. I am going to read through some of these. Corey, sounds like you have multiple issues from his anxieties. He's very reactive to, oh wait, Corey, let me back up. Okay. He's very reactive to people coming in the house. He usually stays in his kennel. Corey, do you put him in his kennel, or do you like put him in his kennel and shut the door because that's where he feels safe, or is it because that's where he goes and he just hides there? Is your kennel in the living room? Stephen, hi Stephen. Sounds so much like Pepe. She'd run. Yeah. If he senses fear, hold on, my things are, I'm sorry, my chat is moving up as I'm trying to read. I'm trying to scroll back down. If he senses fear from people, he goes to fight mode. Yes, especially to push them back. Yes, and that's exactly what they're doing. Is they're trying to, when people come into his space, like he says, 30 feet, you're good. If you take one step closer, he's going into reactivity mode because that the pressure just got too much for him, right? So if those are, and I always say have them on a leash, under control, and then bring him out slowly and see where that reactivity starts. And that's where it stops. And then when he calms, we can add a little bit more pressure, and then we're going to take it off, and then we're going to add just a little bit more. And it does take a long time, but we don't want accidents. We don't want anybody getting bit. We want them to become nice, friendly dogs. Will they become nice and friendly with every human being that walks past them? Probably not, because they do have this fear, but they need to trust you that you're not going to let stranger danger, these lions, come in and touch him or hurt him. Does that make sense? And I apologize. I do have, I just want to make sure. I have a couple things coming out, some other texts coming in from Facebook. I want to make sure, okay, that they're able to get on. Okay. So if that makes sense, or if there's any other questions, but yes, the more, you just have to remember to release the pressure. And a lot of people don't know or understand that. And just get them to where they're at. So if he's having trouble with people coming in the house, and Corey, same with you. If you have people coming in the house, Corey, how to teach self-soothing and create, etc. Okay, I will help you with that. Matt said he was beyond terrified, so he has come a long way. Oh. He was terrified. He was terrified, apparently, like, would you say 53 days later? When Melissa finally called me and said, come look at this dog. Okay, so self-soothing. Here's what happened. I bought him out on a leash, and he still goes crazy mean. He sleeps in kennel and bedroom. It is safe space, and that is how he calms out. Okay. Sounds like, okay, so Corey and Stephen, a little bit of the same thing. Stephen, I'll have to look back. Sense of fear, people, he goes into fight mode. Okay, here's what I would do. I would check the environment. So what happens is a dog, in dog psychology, you have this den, and that's your home. And you are hopefully the leader of your pack and your den of people and dogs in your house. And so two things happen. The dog that is lowest on the pecking order is the ADT system. It is their job to alert all the other ones. Okay? So like in our house, it would be my beagle. My beagle, we have the pit bulls, and then we have the beagle. And the beagle is our ADT system. Anybody shows up, she's going to be the first to alert the rest of the pack that stranger danger, somebody's out there. The lions and the bears are showing up to the door, and we got to all be on guard. Okay? This is how in a dog's brain this works. Same with the Amazon people showing up. So what happens is, Corey, how is your other one, your little Shih Tzu with people? She likes everybody. Everybody's allowed to come. How does she do? And Stephen, when you say how to teach self-soothing in his crate, are you teaching him self-soothing in his crate because he's very anxious in his crate when people come over? And where is your crate located? Your kennel. Corey, here's what I would do with your boy. As far as when people come over, it's been 2 years. When you say reactive, is he's just going, he still goes crazy mean. Okay. So here's what I would do probably. I'm going to assume the bedroom is off down a hallway or something like that. And your company's in the living room or kitchen area sitting having tea or coffee. Here's what I would do. I would either do one of two things. If you can, and I would start with the most common people that come to your house, your best friends, your family, whoever that is that he's still going crazy for. And I would probably, first of all, take the kennel or get a second kennel, which would be fine, and not necessarily put it in that same room, but down the way so that he can observe what's going on. Because once they see things, and we deal with this a lot with horses too, it's not nearly as scary once I can see it and I understand what's going on. So we think that when we put them in the bedroom, they're nice and quiet and they're calm. Yes, they can hear your voices, but they're not necessarily calm. What they're doing is they are just hiding. It's still fear. And so it's like hiding under a dumpster. You know, when the activity's going on out in the world, and these dogs are all feral, you know, they're hiding under the dumpster or behind the, you know, whatever, the building. But they are watching people, right? They're always watching to see. And so what I would do is set up a space where he can see people come in, okay? And eventually he's going to settle. You're going to ignore him. You're going to be like, nope, you're fine. Again, we're not going to coddle. We're not going to do, you are fine. You need to settle. And you're going to walk over there, snap your fingers, say, and then you're going to walk away and you're going to ignore his behavior. Because when we ignore that behavior, you're saying essentially, look, there's nothing to be afraid of. I got this. You don't have to keep telling me that there's stranger danger. I know this person's in my house and I'm telling you it's fine because you're the leader of the pack. It is fine that this person is in my house. I said they could be in here. You are fine. Eventually, he's going to lay down. That's when you walk over and you say, give him like a marker word. Yes, good boy. You can drop a piece of chicken in there, whatever. What we're doing essentially is rewarding the behavior of being calm when there's people in the house. So we had to do this with my Timber, who was very reactive to people coming in the house. And we went from, I had a kennel in the kitchen. And anytime somebody came in the kitchen, of course she had to be in a kennel to begin with because she was dangerous. And we were afraid she's going to bite somebody in our family. So she had to start out in the kennel. But as soon as she called, and I would just walk over there like a lead dog, like the owner of this house, like knock it off. And that is enough. We're done. And then I would just go about my business. And if they continued, I'd ignore it. And if it continued and continued, I'd walk right back over there and be like, that's enough. And eventually the dog starts figuring this out, like, oh, okay, like she's got this going on. She's got this figured out. As soon as they calmed and got quiet, I would reward that behavior. I would walk over and I would drop a treat, whether they ate it or not. Eventually they do eat it, you know. Usually they're a little worked up. I would drop a treat in there and I walk away and I would completely ignore the dog because when you, again, it kind of goes back to when you continually pet, coddle, soothe, interact, you're rewarding their behavior. So what you want to do is correct and leave. Like, nope, that's not acceptable, and walk away. And then when he does it right, when he lays down or he stops, you know, he might stop barking and just go to like a little whine. You could say, yes, like that's better. And that's it. Like he's got to figure it out. And that's part of, Stephen, that's part of the self-soothing. Like they have to figure it out, just like a baby in a crib with a pacifier, whatever. Like they have to kind of figure it out, but you can reward the behavior that you're seeing that is good. And what I want to see is that when a company comes in, okay, yes, you're going to be reactive for a while in the beginning because we're just learning this. It's a new skill. But when they come in, when I say, that's enough, you need to get quiet, and then I'm going to reward that behavior. And that's what they're going to learn. They're going to learn that, oh, if she snaps her fingers and goes, and I sit quietly, I'm going to get rewarded. And that becomes the new kind of game. We call them games. That becomes the new thing. So he can be reactive, and we're just going to ignore that. And then we're going to correct it. And then we're going to reward the behavior that we see. So eventually, and you have to give them credit for the fact that, and even all my dogs still, you know, if somebody would knock on my door, they'd all go crazy. I mean, they're alerting, oh my gosh, stranger danger. The bears and the lions are at the door. They're going to come in this den. So some of it is dog behavior. Some people are very lucky and have dogs that love everybody. They don't care who walks through the door. They're like, whatever. They don't care. That's not the dogs I have. Well, at least one of them. You know, one runs from the hill, one wants to see everybody that walks through the door, the other one wants to attack them. You know, so we got all kinds. You know, and you got to work with the different ones. But they've got to learn that when somebody comes to the door, it's their job to alert you. Yep, we all want a good watchdog. So it's their job. He's going crazy. But when you say enough is enough, it's enough. When they stop, they figure out that when I'm quiet, they get the reward. And they associate, oh, quiet gets the reward. Okay. They're going to learn this, right? They're going to be like, oh, when I stopped, that's when I was rewarded. When I laid down, it was calm. And then as your company is there, very casually, I would just walk over there, drop a treat in their crate, and walk away. I wouldn't interact with them. I wouldn't say something. I wouldn't get them all excited. I wouldn't do anything. And this happened for a good couple months, I would say, with Timber, when people would come in the house. From there, from the kennel training, and once she had learned, like when I say enough is enough, and she understood, like when I said enough, the barking was to stop, she would calm, I would reward. Like we got this whole process down. We moved to a tether strip in the living room. So people come in through our garage, which is like off our kitchen in the living room. It's kind of an open concept thing. So I had a leash wrapped around the bottom of the couch, and she has a bed, or she could be up on the couch. It didn't matter to me, but she was not allowed to attack or come towards people, right? So we played the same game. When people would come in, I'd let people come in. She would be tethered. She would start. I would walk right up to her, back her up in her bed, and I'd say, that's enough. And when she stopped, and then I would walk away. When she stopped, I would walk back over, reward, and walk away. I wouldn't engage with her. I wouldn't pet her. I wouldn't do anything. Like I wouldn't want to stimulate her. I just wanted to know that what she is doing is the right thing. And we're going to talk about marker words next week, which are so important. But, you know, so I would walk over and be just like, yes. And I reward, and I would walk away. Like, yes, you're doing the right thing. And this took another few weeks. Like, so we went from kennel training to, so like we went from kennel in the kitchen to, well, actually kennel actually in my office here, which is tied into the kitchen, but they could see that there were people there, and I would do the same thing. I got this. They're my company. You don't choose who comes into my house, right? I would just, nope, that's not it. I'd back them up, send them back. And when they calm down, I would reward them. And that's where we started. And then it moved to an open kennel, kind of a kennel concept in the kitchen. So as people came in, she would be in the kennel. If she got reactive, it would be the same thing. At first, I would ignore her, see if she was going to do it on her own. If she didn't, I'd walk over there, snap my fingers, say, And as soon as she calmed down, I would reward that behavior. From there, we moved to a tether strip in the living room and a bed. And that was her thing. And it still is her thing. If I have new company coming in the house, if it's not my mom or, well, that's it. I mean, my mom comes over all the time. So other than that, If it's not her coming in my door, she still gets tethered, and we go through the whole process. And she knows when I tether her, somebody's coming in the house. Like, she's expecting it now. She'll usually, get her hair all riled up. She'll bark a few times. The person will come in. She'll see him. The person and I are interacting. I'll snap my fingers. I'll say enough. She lays down. I reward her, and she stays on that leash. She still does not get to get off until I am 100% certain that she can be nice. And I still only do that with very few people that have come many, many times. And so she's kind of used to them now. I don't ever do that with somebody new. But there are some people that come over from our church and different things that she's been here 5 or 6, 7 times. And once Timber knows that that's who it is, then I can let her off, and I put her on a house leash, and she stays right with me for the first 10, 15 minutes until I know she is okay. And then once I know she's okay, then she's allowed to be off. But a lot of times I'll go straight to, which brings me to the next step, after the tethering, and she might stay, in the beginning, she would stay tethered the entire time. I never pushed her to try to get along with somebody until that person showed up 5 or 6 or 7 times. Then she would go on a house leash, and she would stay right with me. Wherever I went, she walked around with me on the house leash. Like, she had to learn to be able to walk around the house and be with other people. And if she couldn't be with me, I take her right back over, tether her up, reward her, and walk away. Eventually, it gets to a point where, like, with my mom comes over, Timber's right at the door, barking just like a normal dog would, and I learn you can teach them names. So I'll say, like, well, we call my mom Momo. So we will say, Momo's here, and then she knows right away who it is. And Momo has to talk to her through the door. Hey, Timber, it's me, Timber. So, but Timber's learned that that's Momo, and now Momo can come straight through the door and not have to worry about it. But Timber's very protective, very guarded, and it has taken us a good year to get her through this, and it is very doable. And you might have to back up a step, like especially with new people, brand new people, you can always back up a step. You can always go back. If somebody, like, if the electrician is coming to work on the house, start at the kennel. Just put them in the kennel. Same rules apply. If it's a friend that's come over 2 or 3 times, you've done the kennel work, then move to the tether work. And then if that person still continues, it's a neighbor, she comes over all the time, then we can move from kennel to tether to house leash beside me in control. The person never touches them for a very long time. Never, like, that dog has to feel safe. No touch, no talk, no eye contact for a while. And then when that dog starts to feel safe with that person and realizes that person's coming and going, then he's going to be fine. And you'll know, but it will take a while. And if you have lots of people coming to your house, it's going to take a lot more time. But let's say you have a good neighbor that comes over, or a best friend that comes over, or, a relative or somebody that comes over frequently. Start with that person. You'll see kennel, tether, house leash, then off in those kinds of steps. And be firm. Like, we're not playing. I said it is your house. You are the leader of your den. A lot of times if a dog does not have leadership or feel leadership in their home, they think they have to control the situation. And if they think it's stranger danger and the bears and the lions are going to get us, that's why they're reactive. So people really downplay the idea of leadership, because the dogs, like in a pack of wolves or a pack of dogs, they really have to understand leadership. And they do. When a dog comes into a new pack or a new den, they know immediately who's in charge. And it's not the meanest dog. It's not the one that fights the most. That's not how they figure it out. It's the one that has everything under control, and he's controlling everything that's happening in that den. All the other dogs, he's claiming all the space in the house. They know right away who's in charge. And if your dog doesn't feel And if you don't understand claiming space and you don't understand some of those leadership things, please reach out to me. I mean, we're doing different exercises, like some of our stuff, our lives are getting into some of the training, but leadership is so important. And it's not that, again, it's not that you're the biggest, the meanest, and the baddest person. It's that you have everything under control. You keep it calm. In a pack of wolves, the den is very calm. You have every dog doing what it's supposed to be doing. You or just say who can and cannot come out. Like you have, as Cesar Millan says, calm and assertive. And you have the den under control and they don't have anything to worry about. And so then you can start working through that reactivity. The same thing goes at the park. Again, if you believe that I'm a leader, if they understand that I am the leader, when I take them to the park, they might hide, they might react, but the same holds true is I've got this under control. I'm not going to let anything happen to you. And a lot of times what happens is dogs, especially dog parks and people who take, you know, you get this random dog that comes and attacks your dog. People see this all the time. That can start reactivity very quickly. And all of a sudden he doesn't trust any dog or any person. So we can understand why they're like that. We just need to work them through it and say, like, the people that I introduce you to are not going to hurt you. The dogs that I introduce you to are not going to hurt you. And we're going to take this as slow as we can until you understand that. But I am not going to let anything happen to you. Does that make sense to everybody? That makes me sad, Matt, that he was there so long. I didn't know that. Okay, so let me check some of these. Submissive confidence, yes. Even if they just sitting next to you to trust you. Yes. And that's the thing is like when you have your company after you get, like, let's say you've gone from kennel to tether and now you're doing the house leash, just have them sit right next to you on the floor and be cognitive. Say to your friend, like, if you got to get up, you know, don't get up and just walk right by him. You know, don't set him up for failure. You always want to set your dog up for success. Like, let me move him to the other space because you already know that he can't handle the pressure of somebody coming towards him. So, like, you have to advocate for your dog, and your dog has to trust that you are not going to let anything happen to him. Just like in the wild, the lead dog, the wolf, ultimately is going to protect his pack. Right? So that's you. So if you know, no fast movements, you know, if that's a trigger for him, who knows why, but if that's a trigger, just say, oh, sure, you know what, let me get you some tea or coffee, or let me get you a drink, I'll get it. And you get up with your dog, you walk to the fridge, you walk over, you hand it to them, and you walk back away and you sit down. Like, every little baby step is a progress. And all of a sudden your dog goes, oh, that wasn't so bad. Okay, that wasn't too bad this time. And if you have to, muzzle your dog. So here's the thing about muzzling, and I had to muzzle train Timber because it's safety. And there's nothing wrong with it. We have military dogs, police dogs, you know, people that it's nothing different than you put a harness on your dog to contain it, you know, put a leash on it and a harness, a choker, a collar, whatever. A muzzle is no different. They learn to wear it. It's not a terrible thing. It's gear. It's tools, and it's going to keep them safe. So muzzle train your dog, you know, and so that he learns that, you know, he doesn't have to bite. He doesn't have to be reactive. It is totally okay. You see police dogs, like I said, military dogs. It is fine to muzzle train a dog. Absolutely 100% fine. As a matter of fact, a lot of times they don't even mind it after they're used to having it on them. They don't mind it. It's like wearing a collar, wearing a harness. So don't negate putting a muzzle on them. It's not cruel. It's not mean. It keeps everybody safe, and it helps you train him to be a better dog. And that's totally fine. We used to have to muzzle Timber when people would come in the house. And our next step with Timber is going to eventually be muzzling her again and having her, you'll see it in our social focus classes, people come up and possibly even get close enough to touch her. We'll see. but she will have a muzzle on if I ever have some, because I don't know that she's not going to be reactive, and I don't want anybody hurt. But I do want her to realize that the people I put her in touch with are not going to hurt her. She has nothing to worry about. So we'll see how that goes this summer in our focus classes. We have 2 crates, one in the dining room, one in the bedroom. My other dog uses crate as a safe place. Max does not. Is Max your? And I'm sorry, Max is the one that's reactive, or no? Your other one's the one that's reactive that does use the crate. I do. I think I remember talking to you about this on the phone. Yeah, fast movement definitely is a problem. Because here's the thing with like fast movement and all of that is when a dog and this is the same with people, it's same with all animals. We have the part of the brain that is the amygdala, which is the back of the brain, which everything goes through the amygdala and it decides fight, flight, freeze, whatever's going to happen. Is this a safe environment? And for a lot of people, or I'm sorry, with dogs, well, people too, but like they can't make that decision quick enough. Like immediately it goes to the amygdala, and then the goal is to get it to the frontal lobe where they can make a decision. And sometimes, like with people who have anxiety and stuff, they can't get it out of that part of the brain to make that decision. Is this going to be hurt? So it sits there and it can't get it moving to the decision part. And so for dogs, it's the same thing. It's like it's a trigger. It's in there, and he's like, I don't know. Do I fight? Do I flight? What do I do? And he can't make any of those decisions. So what we need to do is train him to be able to make those decisions. And if he can't make them, I'm here. I'll make the decision for you. Max is the reactive one. Okay. So he is the one, let me go back here. He's the one that, we'll talk about that too, Corey. She's shy sometimes. We'll talk about that, about the shyness part. So you said you have 2 crates, one in the dining room, one in the bedroom. My other dog uses a crate as a safe place, but Max does not. So Max technically doesn't really like to be kenneled or go to the kennel, or he doesn't mind. Here's what I would do. Again, I would start Max off in the kennel. Depends on where your front door is, where your company comes in. But I would have him, if he doesn't mind being in a kennel, even if he does mind really, but if he doesn't mind being in the kennel, I would move it out to where he can see the people. Like if he feels safe in it, or you can put him in there, put him, again, don't sit him in the living room right where everybody's at. That's too much pressure for too long. But set it outside, like maybe in the hallway. Again, don't know the floor plan, but just where he can see and he's okay. And he can be calm. And then start with when he's calm, the rewarding behavior. So, because dogs will if you imagine, if they're afraid and they're wild, right? And they're feral, they are going to run and hide. Okay, technically what we have done by putting leashes on them and kenneling them, if we said you can't do that, you can't hide. So a dog's number one go-to is to hide. And you can't do that now because we've either put a leash on you or we have kenneled you. So now you are stuck. And now you have to face the danger. And of course the dog thinks that it's, the lion is here to eat me. And they're coming in our den, and the world's turning upside down. Again, just like at the park, when I said back his kennel up to where he is okay, and let him watch from there. Let him see people moving around. Let him hear the voices. Let him know that you are talking to the other human being, that you are fine with that person. Everything is fine. He has nothing to worry about. And when he lays down and he finally relaxes, reward that behavior. Don't let him out. Like he's fine. Don't let him out for a few times. This is not a one and done. Don't let him out. And then when those people leave, you can let him out. The 5th or 6th time, then we move to maybe the tether spot. Maybe you feel fine going straight to the house leash. But like let him soak up the idea in the brain that when I see this person come in, I can move from the amygdala up to the frontal lobe and make the decision that this person is safe. And that's what's happening is they get it stuck and they can't make a decision. Is this person safe or not? And every single thing that a person or a dog or a horse or anything, that decision is made within split seconds. And if you can't make it in split seconds, that's what causes the anxiety. And that's why we always say, like, oh, take like 10 deep breaths, name 5 things. Well, a dog can't do that. So you got to do it, help them do that by backing them up and saying, look, dude, take a breath. This person is fine. You're fine. Chill out and relax. So yeah, that's, I would say, in view, able to comprehend what's going on around him, able to see, able to observe, able to take in information, and know that he is calm and safe. Fast movement is always a problem with dogs because they can't make a decision quick enough, right? So fast movement, in the wild, fast movement would technically mean attack. You know, I mean, we're always like, when dogs go to attack each other, they're always like very slow, and all of a sudden, boom, right? So you're sitting there on the couch, you got a reactive dog, you're sitting there nice and calm, and also that person reacts, dogs would be like, boom, we're on, you know? So just remind your guests, like, you know, we're working with our dogs. Yeah, you can get up, don't, you know, just get up very slowly. And if your dog's not reactive, give him a marker word. Yes, that's right. He's fine. See, he's fine. If he becomes reactive, correct him, redirect him back to a sit, and tell him he is fine. They need to understand that you are the leader and you have decided that that person could be in your house. And reactive dogs who don't have that understanding continue to be reactive. And they do need trained, as what we've been talking about, they do need trained that they can slow down and make those decisions, especially if they've been feral, because they have been in survival mode for a long time. And not even feral, but in some of these, well, we all know where some of these dogs come from. So it's survival mode from day one, you know? And even in shelters where they are in separate kennels and things like that, it's still kind of like survival mode for them. I mean, yes, they have their food and stuff like that, but there's still a lot of noise, and it's still very stressful. So these dogs go through a lot of just like trying to figure out how to cope with it. And we have to literally retrain the brain to say, like, you're okay. We are okay. Everything's fine. I got this. I got you. You are fine. Thoughts or questions? And then we will go back to the shy part. If there are no other questions about my thoughts on how to handle that in the house. And, you know, Max is fine with people, or he goes to the kennel. It's a safe place. That's what he does with people. Max is the reactive one. Yeah, move him a kennel if you have to. Move it out where he can start to see people, and be very firm, calm, and assertive. That's the key. Walk over. Not okay, buddy. We're not doing that. You don't need to hit on the kennel. You don't need to, you know, not that you would. I'm just saying a lot of people, like, they go over there and bang on the kennel and scare the dog. That's not helping. I mean, that, you know, you don't want to scare your dog into submission. What you want him to do is learn to move it from the fight and flight mode to the frontal cortex or the frontal lobe, where they can make a decision like, this person is okay. My owner has this. Everything's under control. I'm good. That's what we're trying to teach our dogs. But they do struggle with it because they have been through a lot. Even some dogs are just, you know, runs to the litter can have that same issue. Even if you get them from a breeder and you pay a lot of money for them. Some dogs are very shy, very scared, very timid. A lot of that goes with the pecking order, the sibling birth order, litters. Shyness. Okay, let's talk about that real quick. Shy and afraid. And it's not a whole lot different. Because reactivity typically in these both these situations is a fear reactive, right? So they think that the lions are coming in. They don't know that you have it under control, so that they are reacting because they want them to back up, get out, right? So I'm going to act big and fierce and, to back up. So once we've trained them that they have nothing to worry about, and probably have to do this with every single bear that comes through your front door for a while. Once we get past that, you might find that they are much more shyer than you think. But we've gone from being reactive fear to being, okay, now I'm very just nervous and shy. And that is typical. Like, even with my ranger, he's very nervous and shy. He's not nearly as reactive. He doesn't necessarily run and jump over the furniture anymore. And even with Timber's a little bit more reactive, aggressive reactive. Like, she is definitely more aggressive reactive than Ranger is. But last year I had Ranger at one of the social focus groups, and somebody came close. Can't remember who. But they put so much pressure on him that he barked. I had never heard this dog bark. He's so quiet and so shy, and he barked. Like, he's like, that is way too close to me, And I was busy talking and training and stuff, and I honestly wasn't paying close enough attention. And he was letting me know, like, that person is way too close. It's not that he was protecting me. It's that the pressure was too much for him, and I wasn't protecting him. So, this year again, during our social focus classes, we will be working with him as well on that kind of stuff. But shyness, check your internet connection. Can you guys still see me? Try troubleshooting your internet connection or reboot your router. Are we off? I think. Did we lose the internet connection? Uh-oh. Oh, I'm still fine. Thank you, Matt. I was just typing in. I was like, are we still on? Okay. Shyness isn't a whole lot different. Some of us are blessed with these super friendly dogs, love people. But some of us have pups that are terrified of people. Oh, it's fine on your end. Okay, I have this says check your internet connection, or reboot your router. Oh, okay, maybe I'm just talking to myself here, which happens all the time anyways. Okay, good, thank you. I dismiss. It's the same thing. So very shy pups, and if you have a shy one, put the house leash on them, and again, let them stay. And you can just even start, like, I always start my dogs. I started very early learning how to tether in a spot. This is, a lot of trainers call it place, and we teach our dogs place. I just call it a tether spot. So they learn to tether very quickly, and I might tether them in the beginning while I'm cleaning the house or washing dishes or doing whatever, just so they learn that when they're tethered, it's not a bad thing. They need to learn to feel confident and calm in that place, in that space. And so I start teaching them this early on, that they, when I tether you, you're not in trouble. Like, I don't tether you because you're in trouble. I tether you because I need you to stay in that place, because something's going to probably happen. And this is your safe spot when you're tethered. So you can start there. You can start, like, working with tethering, and it could be on a couch. It doesn't have to be it could be on a bed on the floor. It could be anywhere, but kind of out of the main pathway, like, our main pathway cuts through our living room like most people's does, and they're kind of tethered over here, by the fireplace more. And that way they can, people can walk, people can talk. But that dog can see into our kitchen, into our living room, down through our foyer. Like, they can see things. And all I want them to learn to do is lay there and be calm. So most dogs don't know how to be calm, especially our shelter dogs who have been feral and life is in survival mode. There is no calm. Like, everything is just constantly stress, right? So we have to teach them to be calm. Whew, like zenning, we have to teach them that. People too, me. Um, so we want to teach them just to be calm. So we can tether them anytime you want. It's not a bad thing. When they finally calm and lay down, just again walk over, drop a reward, walk away. Don't engage, don't talk. Just you'll find that they'll lay there all day because they're like, oh, she's gonna show up. She's gonna bring me a piece of chicken or a treat. They'll learn to lay there all day long. So it's very good to teach your dogs calm. So with a shy pup, especially, of course, the ones that want to run over, depending on how shy they are, like for Ranger, I mean, he was like leaping through the air, up over, I mean, anything that didn't matter what was in the way. I mean, up over the couch, over the chair, into the foyer, terrified. If we're there, and Corey, you can tell me if that's how scared we are, or if we are, okay, we've learned to be in a place, a safe place in our living room, but I can see everything and I'm just watching. And so many dogs need to do that. It's just like soaking up information like a sponge. Like, I just need to watch what's going on and then I'm not afraid. And if you think of it like people are the same way. And when we used to train and ride horses, we would get like very flighty horses over a flag or a train or, different things. But if they could see it head on and see what was causing the fear, again, it could move to the frontal lobe and say, oh, I'm not so afraid of that. We might have to back up a little bit and be like, that we don't want to put too much pressure on, but they weren't nearly as afraid when I can see what's going on. Think about like kids that going into kindergarten or preschool, they're terrified, they're screaming, they're yelling, they're reacting because they don't know what's going to happen when they get into that classroom. By day 10, they're like, see ya, bye, we're off to school, because now they know and it's okay. House leash tether has helped a lot, especially on weekends. I live on a busy street with runners, kids, dogs, walkies. And is he reacting at the window? Because Stephen, I don't know if you were with us last week or not. I can't remember, or I think it was 2 weeks ago. We did like window reactivity. And is his tether strip close to the window or across the room? Because a lot of dogs, again, first of all, running kids, bicycles, Timber hates. She goes crazy over the bicycles that run up and down our street. She goes crazy over them. She's doing a little bit better we have one gentleman that walks the road every single day, getting his steps in, I'm sure. And a lot of dogs, again, in the real world of pack life, there is an ADT system for the den. And that's their job, to alert. I always go over and forgive me if I'm repeating myself to everybody who was here the week before. I go over, I acknowledge it. Yep, I see it. I redirect them back to the kitchen or back to whatever. I give them a few little tasks to do, take their mind off of what's going on over there, redirect, and then reward. So now when I thought she was going to go through my window a few times. Yes, through the window. Oh, she's tethered to you. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so, like with the house leash. Yeah, so with the window reactivity, again, I acknowledge it with my dogs. I'm like, yep, I see it. It's definitely out there, but we're leaving it alone. Again, I said it's fine. I'm not worried about it. You don't need to be worried about it. Let's go. And we'll go over, we'll probably do like a sit, a down, a spin, whatever, get their mind off of it, reward it. If they immediately go back over there and start barking again, I go over there, house leash goes on, I give them a little pop. I'm like, let's go. I said it was fine. They need to understand that when you say it is okay, they have to feel secure enough to be like, okay. And it's not a correction because they're being bad. It's because they need to understand you're the leader. It is okay. I know that person is out there. I said it's okay. I am not worried. If I didn't say it was okay and there was somebody out there, I would let her loose. Like if I was really worried about somebody being outside, I would let her loose and let her. But when I say it's okay, it's okay. And so that you can acknowledge, correct, redirect, reward. And then hopefully they will learn in due time that when you say it's okay, it is okay. Same with at the park. If I see a dog, I said it's okay. It's okay. It does take a long time. Reactive dogs are very hard to train because their brain has been wired for reactivity. And unwiring that takes a lot of time and patience. It really does. A lot of people want to go like straight to e-collars and pinch chokers and stuff like that. And I don't have, I mean, I kind of have a problem with doing anything too fast. I mean, I like, but if it's necessary, I just try to, oh, you weren't there last time. Okay. Yeah. So that, when the reactivity, so take for the reactivity at the window, and it's fine, but like, if he sees something and barks, acknowledge it. And this goes, okay, so I was talking, Rach, yeah, with Brandon, because you called me about Brandon. Is she still on? I can't remember. But Brandon was having trouble with the window too. And turned around and snapped at his owner, because what happens is they're so focused on all the bears and wolves and everything that's outside the den, and the owner went up and grabbed, or not grabbed hard, but took a hold of the collar and turned around and snapped and bit his hand, because they're so highly intense on it. So here's what I do is I usually walk up. Again, I acknowledge it. I'm like, yep. I'll put the leash on them. I'm not gonna put my hands on. I don't want to be bit, right? Because when they are in the mode, they are in the mode, right? Put the leash on them. Yep, I see it. Let's go. Like, and redirect. So because he has to understand that you're fine with it, so let's move away from it. We don't have to. We don't need to be barking at all of this stuff. So acknowledge, correct, redirect, reward. Shy pups, same thing, pretty much. Although we're just going to take it very calm. For shy dogs, calm is the key. Well, calm is the key to about everything with dogs, especially reactive dogs. But with shy dogs, it's just usually a matter of, most of your reactive dogs you'll see will become very shy, because really they're just shy and afraid to begin with, but they just become reactive because they're trying to, protect themselves. But it's going to be the same thing. If you can, put her on a house leash. Depends on how far along she is in her training. We want them to have a safe space, but we don't want them to constantly be afraid and go into that safe space, because we want them, if you want your dog to not do that, then we don't want to encourage that. If you don't care if your dog does that, that's totally up to you. It's your dog. But if you want your dog to learn to come out with people, then again, put them on a house leash, encourage them to come out, have them sit with you. Don't let anybody touch them. No fast movement. Just let them sit and tell them they're fine. You are fine. I got this. I'm not gonna let that person hurt. And then let them go back to their safe spot. Give them that brain break, because when they're out there with you, and they're sitting there and they're shaking and they're so nervous, it's a lot. It's a lot of pressure on them. It's like, And that's what I'm talking about with pressure. Like it's making them very stressed, and that's pressure. And so if they've done it and they've done it successfully, it doesn't matter to me if it's 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Take them back. Don't sit there. You don't have to sit there and necessarily reward them. They're probably not, if they're that nervous or shy, they're not going to be rewarded anyways. They're not going to want to eat. But and then the reward is when you let them go back to their safe spot. They're like, oh, thank goodness, you know. Then bring them back out again, and do this quite a few times. You know, like days, weeks. Again, there's no rush. We just want them to accomplish and not be afraid all the time. So it's just baby steps. And then you'll find that they used to sit for 1 minute. Now they're going to sit for 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, and a half hour. And next thing you know, you can't get them off the couch when your company's coming. You're like, get down, you know? So it does take time, but it's definitely doable. Put a house leash on them and put the pressure on, but then take the pressure back off. And again, you might not get somebody to pet that dog for a while. I mean, very few people can pet Ranger yet. I mean, my mom can because she's here a lot. My daughter, certain people spend a lot of time here. But my kids that live farther away that come home like 2 or 3 times a year, still struggling. And I'm like, leave him. Don't just let him be, because right now he's at least learned to stay in the living room. He's not running and hiding. So don't expect too much. And then when you're here for 2 or 3 days, then you can pet him. If you've got company coming for 2 or 3 days, that's fine. Then you can pet him and see how that goes. Like, we'll put a little bit more pressure on him as the time happens and you're here longer. But if you're just showing up for a couple hours, we're not going to put all the pressure on at one time. Like the fact that he's just existing in the living room and there's 5 people up walking around is huge. So, other thoughts or questions, or did I miss anything? And Carol, I don't know if you are here or not. Still, I saw that you checked in 13 minutes ago. So if you're still here, we're working with her pup Bella. This all holds true for Bella. So Bella is fear reactive. She's not used to her new house. They just moved here. They're not used to the neighbors, stranger danger. And, so this all holds true, which is in your situation, we're doing beeper recall, for her to come back in out of the backyard. But the truth is that as time passes and summer comes and it gets nicer and you guys get moved in and settled in, we're going to sit on the porch with her so that she could see the neighbors. And we're going to use her leash, and she's going to sit there. And so that she can just observe that those neighbors are not stranger danger. They're not the lions. They are okay. That little girl that wants to come over and see the beagle is not dangerous. But right now, she is just very, very reactive. New environment, new house, new people, stranger danger. We need her to come inside because she's scaring the little girl, which is why we started with beeper recall. And then we will get to a point where we are working with her that she is fine with seeing that little girl coming, the neighbors, because she has nothing to fear. And because you say that little girl is allowed to come and see the beagle. We will get there. It does take time. But we will be going through all of these steps, which is, again, why I say, especially when I do in-home training with her, like the reactivity when I come through the door, why I say give her, because your kennels are downstairs, not upstairs, give her a tether strip so that she can learn that I'm coming in, you've said it's okay. And once she sees me there walking around, interacting with you, I come more often, in and out, it's going to become much easier. It's going to become her normal. Oh, like even the last time that I came, she was like, it took me 2 minutes and she was fine with me. So it is a process. but we can get there. And you do. It just takes a little bit of time if you don't want to do it in a manner that causes more fear for them, which that's never my goal. Okay. Any thoughts, questions about any other topic? I don't know what time it is. Oh, probably 9:30. It says hour and a half. Let me see what time it is. I don't want to. Yep. Okay, so next time we meet, we are going to be talking about marker words, which are huge for training, obedience training, and different things. But for this week, if you have a dog that is reactive, try some of those things for homework. Check back in next week. Let me know. We'll start off the session with, give it a week. Move your dog to an area, whether it's in the kennel, depends on what stage your dog is at, where they can see what's going on. Be calm and be assertive. Barking like that is not okay. You need to calm down. Can I rewatch this? Logged in late. Sarah, I don't repost these. I'm so sorry. But we cover a lot of the same things throughout a lot of them. That's okay that you're late. I don't repost. I don't know how to repost it on. I was going to try to figure out. I think I can download it. And I was thinking about reposting on my YouTube channel. If I could figure out how to download it and repost it on my YouTube channel, I will do that. I would have to talk to my daughter, who knows more about this stuff than I do. I don't see her on here tonight. Because I don't let them run live on Facebook. I usually don't let them go. Let me see if there's anybody here who knows how to do this. Sarah, text me. Have I spoken? Do I have your phone number? I can try and send it to you or send you a message. I will try to get this downloaded and I can upload it to my YouTube channel. I've been meaning to want to learn how to do that anyways. So give me a couple days. I'll check with my daughter and then I can text you if I figure it out and say, hey, it's up on my YouTube channel. Because I have been meaning to want to learn how to do that. But if you have a pup that's reactive, this week's homework is to work on your leadership skills, being that this is my house. I said it's okay for this person to be here. I've got you. I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Everything's calm. I got this. That's the emotion that you want your dog to feel. Oh, good. Thank you. Yep. And I'll see what I can do, Sarah, and try to get that up. I've got to learn how to do it anyways. I'm writing it down to write myself a reminder. You want your dog to say, like, she's got this. He, she, owner, they don't have anything to worry about. Move the kennel or the tethering to where, right at their boundary that we talked about in the very beginning, at their boundary space, that 10 feet, 20 feet down the hallway, but they can see everything. You want them to be able to see everything, but feel safe and let them observe and watch. When you put them in a bedroom or something like that, yes, they might be quiet, but they're not learning anything except to hide. And we're reinforcing that that's what should happen when we have company over. We don't want that. We want them to learn that they can come out, they're safe, and it's going to take a lot of training and a lot of time, but they're okay to do that. So put their kennel in a safe distance. Remember when they stop barking and being reactive and they calm down, and again, be very assertive, like, nope, that's not okay. When they finally relax, reward. And even if they don't eat it right away, drop it in there and just walk away. They know what's happening. And when they feel comfortable, they're going to eat that little piece and they're going to be like, and it's going to trigger, oh, I just was rewarded for just laying here being calm. And they're going to wait for you to do it again. And they're going to wait for you to do it again. And then we're going to start there. And so find where that boundary is from, that safe line. Find that safe spot. 10 feet, 5 feet, 30 feet. It doesn't matter. Find that. That's where we start. And then we're going to put a little bit of pressure on. We're going to take the pressure off of them, back and forth until that pressure keeps moving up and up and up. And we're going to desensitize them to the whole idea of it. So work on that this week, whether they're shy, whether they're reactive. Again, window reactivity, acknowledge, correct, redirect, reward. Yep, I see it. They're fine. Leave it alone. Leave it. Let's go. And then reward whatever you're doing over there, not at the window. Just correct, redirect, reward. And it does take a little bit of time, but they're waiting for you to acknowledge. It's their job to tell you. So they're telling you. What happens is a lot of times it just forms a really bad habit. And if we don't get on it pretty soon or right away, it just becomes this horribly bad habit that they bark the entire time. Yes, bark, let me know, but then we got to move on. So that's your homework. I hope everybody comes back next week and lets me know if these, and again, it's only a week. It could take a while. But if that's helping, if they have questions about that, like if they're doing something right, something wrong, we can talk about it and go through each step by step. And of course, any of you that are here can always, email me. Just go to my website, or it's save-me@hoperidgerta.org. I think you can message me on Facebook if you have questions regarding our conversations here. That's totally fine. Happy to help. And then next week, we're going to focus on what marker words are for training. And they're super important for training. That will be helpful as well. So if no further questions, then I will let you get on with your night. Thank you for being here, for supporting us, for joining us. And we will see you in 2 weeks. I think it's May 13th. May 13th for marker words. Have a good night.